Thank you for using the Microsoft Sign-In Verification System. Please press the pound key to finish your verification.
Hey, Prakhar.
Arvind.
Yeah, Prakhar, is it possible for you to start the recording when we kick off the session?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
আমারটাই তো জয়েনিং হয়ে গেছে।
Hi Akram, good morning. You have raised your hand. You wanted to highlight something?
আমার আইডি নেই, সেম আইডি।
Should we get started?
Prakhar, I think we can get started, and if you would be kind enough to mute everyone as a host.
Thanks, Muktadir. Hi everyone, good morning again. This is the part 3, series 3 of our webinars we are doing in for Bangladesh region. Today's webinar is specifically revolving around Barracuda Cloud Application Protection Portfolio, which will highlight majorly solution revolving around WAF. We have Tushar and Arvindan from Cloud Application Protection team, and believe you me, they are the best guys within Barracuda to to speak on these solutions. So you all have a very, very good opportunity to highlight and clear your doubts and any queries that you have regarding this particular solution. If you have anything to point out from Bangladesh perspective, we would be more than happy to answer to that query. Since this is the last of the webinars of this series, so we're not having anything, any particular product webinar after this. We would be more than happy to hold sessions and webinars for you, for your internal teams, for your customers as well after this on any product line that you want. And you can also get back to us if you have any queries post the session as well. Now, I think we have more people joining in. Although Arvind and Tushar, what we can do is we can start, and by the time you start introducing the portfolio, people will start joining in, and I'll start the recording as well.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Prakhar.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Arvindan. As Prakhar mentioned, I'm joined by Tushar. Both of us are part of the product management team at Barracuda. We are also joined by Shashwat, who is our SE for the Eastern region in SARC. So he is a direct point of contact for you guys when you have any questions or concerns around Barracuda networks. Thanks so much for your time today. We really appreciate the participants and the participation and for giving us your time. So today we are going to talk about cloud application protection. So cloud application protection is a platform that includes the product suite for application security at Barracuda Networks. In this session, we hope to cover some details about Barracuda Cloud Application Protection. It is a platform that consists of various components. So we will hope to get a deep dive into all of these components to make sure all of you understand what the platform is all about and what the products are around AppSec at Barracuda. We'll also look at some core differentiators between some of the solutions that we will take a look into. And to cap it all, we'll have a very brief demo. And following that, we'll have a small Q&A session wherein you guys can pose any questions. Meanwhile, if you have any concerns while we are in the middle of the session, please feel free to drop in your questions in the chat window. Either Shashwat or Tushar or myself can read into those questions and provide you clarifications as we move along. All right, so let's get started with the session. What is Barracuda Cloud Application Protection? In order to better understand this platform, it's slightly important to understand the evolution of the modern web application. Right. So back in the days when everything was hosted on premises, most of the organizations used to follow what was called as a waterfall model of web application development, and this basically involves going through cycles of development wherein everything was planned, product managed in longer cycles. And then you would have the final product being delivered after a few months of development effort. That is no longer the case with some of the developments that we see in the modern world, wherein applications have a very short revision cycle. Most of the applications have versions that come up within weeks or even days for that matter, which is very true for e-commerce applications. And most of these applications have a lot of other challenges as well. Because of the faster delivery cycles, sometimes the security of the applications takes a backseat. Developers are more interested in delivering the features rather than being concerned about the security aspects of those features, and therefore, sometimes when organizations use these applications in production, they come across very bad security loopholes that attackers try to expose and compromise the application. Another development that we see is that more and more of these applications are considered to be deployed in public cloud environments or as SaaS applications because of the various requirements that come around these applications. For one, the scale becomes a problem when you deploy these applications in on-premises networks. You can only have finite amount of hardware with which you can host the application. The cloud takes those concerns away. You can use cloud for its elasticity, and also a lot of these applications need to be scaled in and scaled out as and when the demand increases or decreases. And so the Barracuda Cloud Application Protection is a platform that takes into account all of these challenges that an application has and tries to come up with a suite of products that deliver solutions for some or all of these challenges that we have. So it is basically, as I said, a suite of products. So at the core, there is an inspection layer that includes the Barracuda Web Application Firewall and the Barracuda Web Application Firewall as a service. Both of these solutions are firewall engines that would actually inspect the payload, check for the authenticity of the payload, and if the payload is not malicious, the traffic would be forwarded or proxied to the backend server. But there are also a suite of solutions that complement these core inspection layers. There is advanced threat protection, there is DDoS protection, there is advanced bot protection, there is vulnerability manager and remediation service, and we have features around access control and API protection. So these features is what actually make up the platform. We are going to look at all of these different components in a little more detail as we move along in this session. So let's get started with the Barracuda Web Application Firewall as the first component that we're going to get a peek into. So Barracuda Web Application Firewall is a product that provides application delivery and security functionality for an application. So when the Barracuda Web Application Firewall is deployed in front of the application that you would like to protect, you can configure features around bot mitigation. You can configure application delivery features such as load balancing, caching and compression, SSL offloading. You can configure access control on the WAF. You can also enable API security for applications that have API controls enabled on them. If they have an API that they want to expose to the outside world, that layer can be protected by the Barracuda WAF. It also has controls around application DDoS and slow client attacks. And it also comes with controls for automating the configuration and orchestrating the controls on the Barracuda WAF itself. So you can use the modern DevOps pipelines and tools in order to manage and use the Barracuda Web Application Firewall. Another product that is part of the cloud application protection is the Barracuda WAF as a service. This is basically a SaaS solution like the Barracuda WAF. Barracuda WAF is an on-prem solution that can be deployed either as a hardware or a virtual machine, and also in the public cloud as a virtual machine. We have support for Azure, AWS, and GCP. WAF as a service is a fully managed SaaS solution which is hosted in the Barracuda cloud, and customers can subscribe to the service in order to onboard their applications and enable security directly on WAF as a service. This allows customers to get started with the security aspects immediately rather than having to deploy and manage a solution for their business needs. So Barracuda WAF as a service is built on Barracuda WAF. What I mean by that is that the inspection engine that is used on WAF as a service is nothing but the Barracuda WAF. So it's built on the same proven technology that you all may be aware of with Barracuda WAF. In order to onboard an application, we have a simple 5-step procedure wherein you are requested to key in the details of the domain that you would like to protect, the port number on which the web application resides, the protocol that you would like to use in order to process the traffic and things like that, and you should be able to onboard the application with those details. It also has all the controls and rules and features that that you have on the Barracuda WAF, and so it makes it very easy for organizations to adopt security controls for their web applications by using the SaaS platform. It also comes with a fully featured REST API engine if organizations wish to manage the solution using API. And there is a built-in DDoS protection layer as well that accounts for volumetric DDoS protection. For application DDoS, there are controls within the SaaS engine. The DDoS protection that is actually mentioned in this slide is about the volumetric DDoS that is enabled by default. So when you subscribe to WAF as a service and onboard an application, your the application is enabled for volumetric DDoS protection by default. The solution also has support for vulnerability management, identification, and remediation. We will look into that aspect of the solution in the future slides. So as far as the WAF as a service is concerned, sometimes there is this doubt about what kind of applications it can actually protect. Sometimes people wonder if the SaaS solution has to be used for applications that are deployed in the cloud only. And these questions are sort of answered in the slide. We have customers who use the WAF as a service for applications that are hosted in their own networks, on-premises networks. We have customers who have applications that are deployed in multiple locations like on-premises or public cloud. And we have customers who are using their applications completely hosted on public cloud networks, and these are also possible to be protected using the Barracuda WAF as a service. There's really no limitation as to what kind of applications you can actually protect. As long as your application is accessible over the internet, you can use the Barracuda WAF as a service in order to protect the application. And the way we go about doing it is you're needed to point the application's domain name to the WAF as a service CNAME when you initially deploy the application or onboard the application on WAF as a service. As a part of this effort, when you deploy the application using the 5-step process that we spoke about a while back, the WAF as a service is going to present the CNAME that you need to map to the domain name of the application. The result would be that when a user wants to access the backend application, they would be sent to the Barracuda WAF as a service infrastructure, where the request will be validated, checked for the maliciousness, and then proxied over to the backend application. So all that you need to do is after you onboard the application on WAF as a service, you need to make sure that there is no way that the user can directly access the backend application bypassing WAF as a service. So you need to put your source control rules on the application server's network. That's pretty much what needs to be done. One of the concerns that people have when adopting SaaS solutions is about the deployment location of these SaaS solutions. The application might be hosted in, let's say, for example, in a data center in Bangladesh, which means you don't really want to send your all the way to US or Europe before it reaches the backend application hosted in Bangladesh. So we have support for multiple data centers. As you can see, there are more than 55 locations at this time that we are talking about that you can choose from in order to deploy the application using WAF as a service. So you can choose the nearest location possible. We partner with Microsoft Azure. So as and when Microsoft Azure introduces data centers in regions globally, the WAF as a service benefits from that automatically, and we can deploy our solution in those data centers as and when those regions become available. And Microsoft Azure keeps introducing data centers in multiple locations, so it could be just a matter of time before we have another data center that is even closer to your region compared to what it is today.
কয়টা লাইট চলতেছে again?
So when it comes to WAF as a service, the way to understand it is actually
রাউটারে লাইট চলতেছে
presented in the slide. So I'm sorry, is there a question?
রাউটারটা কি আপনার নাম?
All right. I think
everyone
just,
can get mute if you don't have any question except Arvind.
Thank you. So when it comes to WAF on-premise, we have complete management and responsibility for the deployment and monitoring of the solution with the customer, right? So everything starting from the availability of the facility, the networking, the deployment and configuration is part of the customer's responsibility. When it comes to public cloud deployment, the public cloud takes away some of these components and you're requested to only share the responsibility for a fraction of the components. So as a public cloud deployment for the WAF, the customer is needed to only take care of the management of the solution that involves configuration. And with WAF as a service, it is further reduced to just managing the application security configuration. The system administration side of things are sort of managed by Barracuda in a way. So that's basically what the slide tries to depict. So your administrative overhead as a customer is completely reduced when choosing WAF as a service, compared to the other two deployment options available with the Barracuda WAF. However, there are cases where WAF on-premise or a public cloud WAF is more suitable. We will have a few discussions around when to choose a WAF and when to go with WAF as a service. But more or less, this is the various administrative overhead differentiators between the three kind of deployments. The next component that I'd like to talk about is advanced bot protection. Back in the days when application security was considered to be, about attacks revolving around SQL injection and cross-site scripting, we used to have the so-called bots or zombies that used to crawl websites and crawl applications, steal data and things like that. And we used to look at solutions such as captcha protection and sometimes using web scraping protection layers in order to defeat those bots. However, we have seen that in the past few years, as and when the proliferation of all these web applications has increased, a lot of sectors have seen various degrees of bot attacks. For example, in the real estate arena, we have seen that 60% of traffic is sometimes taken up by bots. This is pretty significant because you expect close to 100% traffic from human beings, or in some cases where customers choose to use search engine optimization bots, maybe this is in the range of 85%. But what we are actually seeing is that in sectors such as real estate, it is about 60% of bot traffic and only 40% of browser-based traffic. In sites that actually host auctions, we see 45% of bot traffic, and in business-to-business portals and local government portals, we see a similar number, 30% and 45% respectively. And what this also signifies is that apart from hammering the sites with a lot of automated traffic and requests, sometimes these bots are also attacking the application for very specific problems. Sometimes we see credential stuffing attacks wherein the bot uses a dictionary of usernames in order to randomly inject passwords on login pages, and they hope to achieve a penetration rate of 10% sometimes and penetrate through the application and steal data. As I said, we used to have these so-called basic bots which used to steal data and scrape data on applications. But we have also seen other classes of bots. This particular slide talks about various bots that are actually seen in the wild. Apart from just the basic bots, we have classified them into various names here. The pretenders kind of bots actually go a level beyond what the basic bots are able to achieve, and they sometimes camouflage themselves as the good bots, the kind of bots that we actually want to use for crawling on our sites. For example, Google search engine is actually a bot. You may want to use Google's ad services in order to better page rank your web application. But there are these so-called the pretenders bots that actually spoof themselves as Google bots or Bing bots and can scrape sites and steal information. So it's very important for a solution to classify between basically humans or browser-based access and bots. But more importantly, when it classifies the bots, it needs to be intelligent enough to classify the bots into the well-known good bots and the malicious bots. Otherwise, sometimes the benefits that can be brought out by using bots is sometimes defeated when using anti-bot technologies. We also have the iPretenders, which go a level above the pretenders kind of bots, which not only spoof good bots, but they can actually replicate browser behavior. They can send requests as if it is coming from browsers, and in doing so, they are able to execute attacks like credential stuffing and carding and ad frauds. And these type of bots can actually bypass CAPTCHA challenges that are presented by the websites. So these are pretty unique and sophisticated, and the normal bot mitigation technologies that were used about a couple of years back may not be suitable enough for handling these kind of bots. And we also have the almost humans kind of bots that can inject mouse movement in their requests to make it seemingly browser-like when it is being inspected for by a defense solution. So when it comes to all of these bots, it sometimes becomes a very big challenge for a security solution to clearly identify between a good bot, a bad bot, and a browser-based access. And therefore, we have seen a lot of companies getting affected through these bots. What you're actually seeing here is an automated threat list that was published by a foundation called the Open Web Application Security Project Foundation. So OWASP is actually a well-known foundation for people who are in the application security domain. You might have heard about OWASP top 10 attacks in the past. When you're configuring web application firewalls, sometimes customers ask you if the chosen WAF solution is able to protect against OWASP top 10. So the background of that question is basically these guys coming up with a top 10 attacks list every year that actually analyzes the security vulnerabilities that are seen in applications and how attackers are compromising them. So these guys have come up with a similar list for bot-based attacks. So what you're actually looking at is a classification of different kinds of bot attacks. There are 22 of them, and we have different companies getting compromised for some of these attacks. We have Disney, which was compromised. We have Dailymotion. We saw Drupalgeddon get affected, Adidas, and some of these organizations, as you can see, are very big names. Some of these are Fortune 500 companies, and they have all been affected at various times because of bot attacks. So what is the solution that we can actually look at when dealing with bots? Obviously, we cannot use regular defense mechanisms. We cannot use patterns because a lot of these bots don't actually send malicious data per se. It's more about the volume of the data and subtle variance in the way the data is sent. And as we saw, credential stuffing may not really be caught by a pattern. So we have come up with a solution that actually leverages a cloud service. So we have built a cloud service called Barracuda Application Security Threat Intelligence Cloud, which works in tandem with the Barracuda WAF or Barracuda WAF as a service. And as a customer, they are required to subscribe to a service called the Advanced Bot Protection Service, with which they will be able to leverage the benefits of this cloud engine, and they will be protected against bots. Not only protected, but they'll also get interesting visualizations about how bots are affecting their site, what percentage of traffic is bot initiated and how much of it is browser initiated and things like that. So when it comes to the kind of bots that we earlier looked into, when it compares with the Advanced Bot Protection Service on the Barracuda WAF or WAF as a service, we have signature checks for the basic bots. We have protection mechanisms such as web scraping and brute force protection to handle the basic bots. When it comes to the pretenders kind of bots, there are enhanced lookup services. Each client is classified with a fingerprint, and this fingerprint is then analyzed in the cloud for the kind of behavior the client exhibits, and then a score is assigned to these clients by looking into various aspects of the request, not only the actual request data, but also the things such as the honey traps and mouse movement checks, etc. And all of these are sort of brought in together in order to assign a bot risk score to the client, which is then used to classify that client as either a human or a bad bot. The next component that I would like to talk about is DDoS protection. So as far as DDoS protection is concerned, we can classify the DDoS attacks into two broad categories. We have the volumetric DDoS and we have the application level DDoS. Application level DDoS is a mechanism by which an attacker can use automated tools or scripts in order to hammer an application with a lot of requests, and they can try to bog the server down use up all its CPU and memory resources, and make sure that the application server is not able to process valid requests or accommodate valid users. And for this, both Barracuda WAF and WAF as a service has controls built in. We have ways to mitigate against application DDoS attacks. We can rate control the clients. We can enforce capture checks for suspicious clients. We can enforce brute force checks on both of these solutions. But there is another class of DDoS attacks called the volumetric DDoS that actually tries to choke the bandwidth of the infrastructure on which the application server is hosted. And this is a type of attack that needs a security layer beyond the WAF and WAF as a service. And for this, we have a subscription-based service called Active DDoS Prevention, shortly called ADP. This solution is basically a cloud service through which the traffic is proxied to either WAF or WAF as a service, and thereby any volumetric DDoS attempts will be prevented at the cloud layer itself before the traffic even hits the local WAF or WAF as a service. Right. So these are scrubbing data centers where the traffic is first routed. So as a prerequisite, the customers are requested to point the DNS record for their application to the DDoS service, and the traffic is then routed to WAF or WAF as a service. With WAF as a service, this protection is available by default. If the customer is using the Barracuda WAF solution, then they have to subscribe to this particular service. Another important point to note is that this scrubbing layer or cloud service is actually hosted in the US data center. It is not available in other locations at this time. So it would be a solution that can work for you if you have a client based in US, for example, or if a customer has hosted their application in US. It can also work for applications that are hosted elsewhere, as long as the latency profiles are something that you can accept when you route traffic through these scrubbing data centers. The next component is the advanced threat protection service. This is also a subscription-based service. And the background for this is basically around file inspection. So a lot of web applications actually accept file uploads. For example, you can think of this use case for a job recruiting site, which invites applications with resumes. Job applicants are requested to upload their resumes as files into these job portals, and the application needs to inspect these files in order to ensure that they are not having some kind of viruses or Trojans and things like that. And traditionally, these challenges were actually met with antivirus softwares. So you would actually use an antivirus engine on a WAF-like solution, or even on the backend server, that can actually look at these files for any virus patterns and Trojans and block them if required. But the evolution of these attacks has meant that there are newer kinds of problems that can be part of these files. And, we have these latest malwares that can actually bypass all kinds of antivirus checks that you can provide with antivirus softwares. And to mitigate against these malwares, you need to basically execute the file in an isolated environment, in a sandboxed environment, and then look at what the file does. If it has a malware, you need to track the malware and see what changes it does on the operating system, to the registry, or even the kernel. And for these extreme requirements, we have the advanced threat protection service. With the Advanced Threat Protection Service, we can leverage the cloud, and when a user sends or uploads a file into the Barracuda WAF, for example, the Barracuda WAF sends a copy of that file to the cloud layer, the Advanced Threat Protection Cloud layer, where it is analyzed with various threat signatures. It is looked for, it is checked for behavioral and heuristics analysis. It's analyzed for how the malware impacts the operating system, and the whole thing is actually controlled within a CPU emulated sandbox VM. And this is extreme work, right? So you don't expect the locally deployed WAF engine or the backend server to do this work for you. So this is a cloud service that does the work at scale. Sometimes when thousands of users are uploading different kinds of files, you need scale, which becomes the prominent factor in this in the security layer. And so the cloud brings in that aspect of the solution into the picture. We can now account for hundreds of these files to be processed in parallel. And the result of this is, if there is a problem with the file, the cloud layer is going to notify the WAF, which can then notify the administrator that there is a problem with the file. And the administrator is then allowed to go ahead and remove the file from the backend application server. So it brings a lot of value to the system. Basically, with ATP, as you can see here, the local copy of the file is uploaded to the cloud, where it is analyzed as a background process and then notified for any malicious nature in the file. This is on top of the antivirus checks that are performed. So this is over and above the basic antivirus checks that are part of the WAF solution. I apologize for the background noise. I'm working from home, and it's a busy neighborhood, so apologies for any background noise that you may be hearing. The next component that we are going to talk about is the API protection component. This is actually part of the WAF solution itself. It is an inbuilt feature that customers can benefit from when they use the Barracuda WAF. The API protection offers security controls that go beyond the basic protocol sanitization and validation that is part of the solution. A lot of organizations use API engines for various purposes. One of them is, for example, if they want to publish their application through a different form factor, let's say as a mobile-based application. Or let's say they want to integrate their application with a service provider from a third-party company, right? All of these requirements are met with an API that is deployed on the application. An API is nothing but an application programming interface that is mostly used as a means of integrating with other companies' solutions, or for different form factor presentations. And the underlying protocols that are used for these APIs is mostly hosted using JSON or XML. We see newer subprotocols as well, but JSON and XML seem to be the most widely used subprotocols on APIs. And what you're actually looking at in this slide is some of the quotes that were actually given out by prominent analysts who claim that 90% of web-enabled applications will have attack surfaces exposed through APIs by the year 2021. As more and more of these applications expose APIs for their business requirements, a lot of them will expose the inner workings of the application, and this can be quite harmful. By nature, these APIs expose the application logic by way of schema representations. For example, when you deploy an application that uses an XML API, it is required that the application presents the XML schema to any integrator who would like to integrate the solution with the application's API. And so a lot of private data is going to be leaked, and it is important that a solution that that you're using to provide API security can take into all of these challenges and provide the best form of defense. There are other challenges that also represent themselves. One of them is the DDoS challenge for APIs. As APIs are exposed, there are lots of DDoS level challenges. Bots can harm the APIs and make sure that APIs are not able to honor valid clients. And so the solution needs to account for all of these challenges, right? So with Barracuda's cloud application protection, we can enforce API protection for the protocol level attacks, the sub-protocol level attacks, which requires sub-protocol specific inspection engines. And Barracuda WAF provides this with the help of XML firewalls and JSON firewalls in the solution. Both of these are built-in features. You can also enforce access control in order to provide a layer of authentication for the APIs. You can also enforce advanced bot protection and automated attacks protection using WAF. And all the advanced bot protection features that we saw a while back can be relevant for API security as well. There is also logging and reporting for all the requests that are made to the API, which is sometimes a very important factor. So you can actually see what kind of traffic is hitting the backend application, who the client is, what type of client they are, and if they're actually exhibiting any malicious behavior. The next feature is identity and access control. This is again a feature of the Barracuda WAF. On modern applications, you have a lot of authentication controls. But for example, consider a content management service application, right? A CMS application, for example, a WordPress or a Drupal-based application that can host blogs and host static content, also has an administrative interface which has its own login, right? So when you want to protect the admin logins over the internet, you can use the access control feature of the Barracuda WAF so that you can completely lock down the admin control by having an access control module hosted for that portion of the website, while allowing the rest of the website to be using the local login controls. So Barracuda WAF supports identity services using LDAP integration, Radius integration, Kerberos, SAML, and OAuth. And you can also use multi-factor authentication if you would like to use more than one layer of protection for authenticating the users. OAuth in particular provides great flexibility because most of the APIs that are deployed on applications actually rely on OAuth for their authentication requirements. When it comes to single sign-on, SAML and OAuth seem to be the protocol of choice for cloud-hosted applications, and we have support for both of these protocols. And we have lots and lots of customers using these authentication engines on the Barracuda WAF to enable single sign-on and authentication for their users. The next component is the Vulnerability Manager and Remediation Service. In order to better understand why this service is useful, think about the various challenges that an organization has when they want to configure security for their application. Right? Most of the companies that you deal with on a day-to-day basis have micro teams. They don't have, the benefits of a very large enterprise where there is a very specialized application security team. Most of the companies that you may deal with, or the ones that we talk to on a daily basis, have teams that actually share the load for most of the IT requirements of the company, be it deploying desktops and servers, or deploying applications, coming up with orchestration requirements, meeting those orchestration requirements, and even configuring application security. So you cannot expect, companies to have complete knowledge of what the application security posture needs to be for their applications. And a lot of these organizations have more than a single web application. They have, tens and hundreds of applications sometimes that actually needs to be dealt with, and application security needs to be applied. And so what the Cloud Application Protection brings is the Vulnerability Manager and the Remediation Service products that can help, remove some of those barricades before you can actually configure application security accurately for a given application. So with the Vulnerability Manager, you can actually use the solution as a trusted advisor, more so for system integrators like yourself. You can go ahead and use the Barracuda Vulnerability Manager service, get the permission from the customer to scan their site, and then at the end of that scan, you will be presented with a vulnerability scan report, which would ideally expose the problems that are existing on the application, and it will give you a benchmark and a proof that the customer actually needs a WAF kind of solution, right? Many companies have their own vulnerability scanning tools as well, and these can also be imported into the Barracuda WAF. But using the Barracuda Vulnerability Manager, you get a complimentary free service. You don't have to pay for this service. So it brings a lot to the table as far as the system integration is considered. You can actually use this tool, scan the site, and take the results to the customer and talk to them about how they can protect against those problems for an application. So what you do essentially is once you have the scan result, you can log into the Barracuda WAF and import the scan result into the WAF to automatically generate the policy fixes and have a better security posture for the application. In contrast, we have another solution called the Vulnerability Remediation Service. This is basically version 2 of the Barracuda Vulnerability Manager, but the use case slightly differs from that of the Vulnerability Manager service. With the Vulnerability Remediation Service, you can actually integrate the solution more tightly with a WAF or a WAF as a service. And what I mean by that is you can operationalize the scanning process. So with the Vulnerability Remediation Service, you're looking at a post-WAF operational requirement where there can be frequent changes to the backend application server, and you may have to fine-tune the rules accordingly on the WAF from time to time. And using the VRS solution, you can actually scan for the changes that are happening on the server, scan for the vulnerabilities in those new changes, and then if there are problems, the remediation service is going to expose those to you in the scan results, and you will be able to patch for those scan results directly on the WAF without any human intervention. So the BVM is basically pre-WAF installation. The remediation service that you're actually looking at in the slide is a post-WAF deployment scenario kind of solution. So having looked at all the components of the cloud application protection, what is quite evident is that we cover almost all aspects of the platform. You can basically segment these into three broad categories: inspect, protect, and monitor. So when it comes to inspecting an infrastructure for problems, you have the BVRS, the BVM, and integrations with third-party scanners. When it comes to protecting an application against actual attacks and attackers, you have the WAF layer, you have WAF as a service, you also have the advanced bot protection layer, and DDoS protection and threat protection layers. And once you're able to protect an application, you need to validate that by actually monitoring for the kind of traffic that is being processed. And for this, we have the reporting engines on WAF and WAF as a service. You can basically operationalize the BVRS as I just spoke about. You can also integrate the WAF or WAF as a service with third-party SIEM and syslog services. And in cases of multi-region deployments or multi-node deployments, we have centralized management solutions such as WAF Control Center and the Barracuda Cloud Control layers. So all aspects of the solution are taken into consideration using the cloud application protection. And some of these are subscription-based services, some of these are built-in services, and some of these are complementary solutions to aid professional services and managed services for system integration companies. As we speak, the Barracuda WAF is available as hardware appliances, virtual appliances, and as public cloud virtual appliances. When it comes to hardware appliances, we have solutions varying from 25 Mbps of capacity to 10 Gbps of capacity. We have virtual appliances that can be used to deploy solutions on commercial hypervisor platforms such as VMware, Hyper-V, Azure Stack, OpenStack, Nutanix, and VirtualBox. We have support for AWS, Azure, and GCP as far as public cloud platform is concerned. And WAF as a service is a device-free deployment. It is a software as a service kind of deployment. When it comes to both WAF and WAF as a service, one important aspect is its inbuilt API engine. In order for the management of the solutions themselves, a lot of companies deploy their applications using automated workflows, using tools such as Puppet, Ansible, and Chef. And sometimes this can become a barrier for introducing security controls in networks, and therefore having an API layer on WAF and WAF as a service can be quite beneficial in order to integrate these solutions with existing DevOps workflows. Barracuda WAF and WAF as a service have code samples for API-based API-based management of the solutions. You can look at these code samples in our GitHub account. It's github.com/Barracuda Networks. You can look at repos that are related to WAF and WAF as a service in that account. We also have a documentation portal for all of the products that we have discussed in this session. It's campus.barracuda.com. It is a one-stop portal for the documentation for all Barracuda products, and you can pretty much look at the documentation for all the products that we have spoken in this session as well there. Let's take a moment and look at the core differentiators of WAF and WAF as a service, the two layers that actually handle the protection of the traffic. Right. So when it comes to the Barracuda WAF, one of the strong points of the solution is that it can be deployed on any platform, whether it is on-prem, hardware, or as a virtual appliance in private data centers or public data centers, public clouds, essentially. And what's important is to understand that no matter where you deploy the WAF, the look and feel of the solution remains the same. The features are the same, whether you're looking at a hardware or a virtual deployment. And of course, it covers both application delivery and application security in a single solution, right? There are lots of features around delivery as well as security in one solution. It has protection for controls for bot mitigation, advanced threat protection, and advanced DDoS protection. And it has support for automated vulnerability discovery and remediation by having support for third-party scanners, the BVM, and the BVRS. When it comes to WAF as a service, one of the clear differentiators is the scale that we can account for. As we discussed in the earlier slides, currently WAF as a service is available in 55 plus regions globally, and it will continue to grow as and when we see new data centers being introduced. It brings in all the controls that you can actually have with Barracuda WAF onto a SaaS kind of solution. So almost all the features that you see on the Barracuda WAF can be available on the WAF as a service as well. This is pretty important because some of the competitors who claim to have both an on-premise or a VM kind of WAF and software as a service have very bad feature parity between their solutions. And that is because some of these solutions are not homegrown. They sort of acquire companies and they sort of productize them and provide them to customers, and because of that, what they have with their homegrown solution, like their on-prem kind of solution, may be completely different from what they are offering with their cloud native solution. As compared to that, on Barracuda WAF and WAF as a service, there is almost 100% feature parity, including the features around DDoS protection and automated vulnerability discovery and remediation. Now with that, let me go ahead and quickly show you a brief demo of some of these products. So I'm going to switch my window. So this is something that you can also do with your customers. A great way to showcase a lot of the features or services that we are talking about is to actually show how to use these to customers. When you go to barracuda.com/demos, you can actually see all the Barracuda products and you can actually look at the demo for each of these solutions. And so, for example, if you want to look at the Barracuda Web Application Firewall, you can click on this link and you can log in as a guest user. Just click on sign in. There is no need to put in a password and you should be able to log in. And similarly, you can also log into WAF as a service. I'm also going to log into the vulnerability remediation service and the BVM. So on the WAF on the Barracuda WAF solution, the demo site is actually a virtual machine. In order to onboard an application, you just have to follow a very simple procedure of filling in these 3 fields and you're pretty much done. So you need to mention a name, for example, test service. You need to choose the type of service that you want to deploy, for example, HTTPS, and you can choose the certificate that you want to use for this particular site. And then the backend application, it could be either a host name or an IP address, and you need to mention that. And once you do that, you're going to see an entry here on the Barracuda services page, basic services page, and you can pretty much see that there is a security policy bound to the service which will inspect the traffic right from the word go. The moment you deploy the service, there is a security policy bound to it, and attacks will be detected as soon as you onboard the service. Correspondingly, on WAF as a service, you have similar controls. All you need to do is to add an application, and with that you will be given an option to go ahead and do the same kind of initial onboarding. You need to mention the application and the port number that you would like to use, and you can pretty much see that application being deployed. This is a demo site, so we are not able to add an application, but ideally you should be able to do it. It looks like there is a small glitch here today. So please try this after some time, and you should be able to look at all the page views and options that are available on WAF as a service. On the Barracuda Vulnerability Remediation Service, also we have a view demo page. And on the BVM, we have a similar interface. Let me first talk about BVM, and I'll try to log into the Vulnerability Remediation Service. So when you initially onboard a scan, you can pretty much control this. You can mention what type of scan you want to run and schedule that scan. And at the end of it, you will be given a report. So you can actually go to finished scans, where you can actually see the report. You can download it and look at the report and import this report into the Barracuda WAF. So on the Barracuda WAF page, go to advanced, and there is an option called vulnerability reports. And here you can log into and import that scan result and generate the solutions for, the policy fixes for the scan result. So here you see that a scan result was imported, and it happened to be a pretty vulnerable site, and the WAF has generated a lot of these rules. All you have to do is select the vulnerabilities and click on apply. And WAF is going to create the rules that you see here. The recommendation is to create a parameter profile, for example. It's going to do that, and all the problems that are associated with that particular scan will be patched accordingly. Okay. All right. So on the vulnerability remediation service, as you can see here, we have a similar looking interface with one difference. So when you edit a scan result, for example, you have an option to integrate the scan result with an operating WAF. So here, for example, we have all these WAFs that are actually listed, and you can go ahead and choose the WAF and the corresponding service, and then you can choose to automatically patch the application, the service that is configured on the WAF with the policy fixes. So you actually avoid the step of going ahead and importing the scan result manually when you're using the vulnerability remediation service. And you can of course operationalize this whole process so that you are able to run the scans, let's say every week or every month, and correspondingly patch the backend application. So as a system integrator, if there is any takeaway from the session, it is your ability to actually start a very fruitful conversation with the customer by using the Barracuda Vulnerability Manager. Go ahead and give it a try. It is a free service. You don't have to license it or pay for it. However, you can use it as a very important tool in your sales conversation with the customer. With that, I think we can now open the floor for any questions. This is a good time to actually ask if you have any questions in mind. Let's see. Okay, I can see that there were a few concerns on the chat window, and Tushar has been helping us out with those answers. Please let us know if you have any other questions. You can maybe unmute yourself and ask the questions as well. All right, Vaisakhi, yeah, the recording is actually underway, so Prakhar will be able to send out the recording to you after this call.
Yeah, hello. Hi, this is Mamun from Dhaka.
Hi, Mamun.
Yeah, I have a question regarding vulnerability remediation. So your web, so is the ability to remediate automatically all vulnerabilities, or I have to give them some initiative or something, like I have to do it, or it will go automatic?
So with the Barracuda Vulnerability Manager, you are required to get the scan result and import it into the WAF manually. With the vulnerability remediation service, you can pretty much automate that process. So the vulnerability remediation service has controls to directly integrate with a particular WAF and a service within that WAF into which the policy fixes can be injected. The vulnerability manager service does not have that. You can simply execute the scan and then export the scan from the service, import it into the WAF manually. So that's what I was talking about. So, so this page that you see here is mostly used for either Barracuda Vulnerability Manager or third-party tools. Like we have support for HP Security Web Inspect, IBM AppScan, which are all well-known scanning engines. And so you can run your scans using any of these engines, export the report, and then import it into the Barracuda WAF manually. If you're using the vulnerability remediation service, you don't have to do the things manually, because the remediation service provides a way for you to automatically bind the scan with a WAF. So you can choose the WAF and select the service in that WAF, because you can have one or more services, right? So you have an option to select the service and then tell the VRS if it needs to configure those rules in passive mode or active mode. So,
okay, so in this regard, say I have the vulnerabilities like my application is transferring data, I mean unencrypted communication. That means my application, there is no SSL certificate. So what will be the suggestion from your vulnerability manager?
So this report will identify that the site is exposed without HTTPS. And for example, the remediation would be to secure the site with an HTTPS channel. That's all the scan would say. But then on the WAF, there is an option to enforce SSL offloading, right? So because that cannot be automated, you cannot simply enforce HTTPS and do it. You are still, you are still required to bind a certificate, or rather import a certificate into the WAF and use it. So on the Barracuda WAF, for example, there is the certificates tab where you can actually import a certificate and then change the service type to have the certificate bound to that service. So you can either import a certificate here or use a service such as Let's Encrypt to generate a certificate and use it on the Barracuda WAF. And then later you can go to the services page and, for example, change the service type or introduce a new service with HTTPS as the service type and bind the certificate. So for a HTTPS related problem, as long as the site was originally just HTTP, that would be the way to go. If the site was HTTPS, but if there are some SSL settings that are missing, that is something that the scanning engine can actually recommend and also take care of using a virtual patch.
Okay, I have got it. Thank you. And sorry, I'm asking maybe more question if you don't have problem.
No problem.
Okay, all right. So I have another question regarding performance. Since this web is using another layer of request sending and responding, so is there any performance issue for a web application? That means I believe it will not make any slowness of web application, right? And is there any limitation for any web server? Say I have like IIS, Apache, and maybe some other web servers I have. So is there any limitation?
So to answer your first
if actually one my question is that I am Montasir. That is, if this Barracuda web is using the sandboxing or APT, then the APT process then it will slow the web application.
Okay, I'll answer each of those questions. To first start off Mamun's question, to answer your first question about performance, obviously this is an inspection layer, and so there will be a negligible difference in the way the traffic is processed directly by the application server and when it is processed through a WAF. And that is why we are talking about various other features that can actually negate some of these problems. So we have the application delivery controls like caching and compression that can be offloaded into the WAF that can be used to negate some of these issues. From a deployment perspective as well, we spoke about the various data centers in which WAF as a service is available. So we recommend that you choose the closest data center that is available to corresponding to the application deployment location. Even in the case of WAF, we recommend that you deploy it as close to the application as possible. In many cases, the performance difference that you see with and without WAF is negated by using the application delivery features like caching and compression. There is something called TCP connection pooling on the WAF, which will allow the WAF to reuse some TCP connections when it is communicating to the backend server and things like that. So just so you know, right, we have more than 20,000 odd deployments currently globally. And that is a proof enough that the latency problem that you're referring to is not much of a concern if some of these basic things can be, followed. Deployment location, the deployment mode, and some of the features that we talked about. Secondly, you had a question about the kind of web servers that we support. And the answer is we don't really have a restriction there because we are looking at the protocol that run these applications, right? So we are looking at protocols such as HTTP and HTTPS. And Barracuda has support for HTTP 1.1, HTTP 2, and HTTPS, both on TLS and SSL. And almost all the servers that you may have in mind actually support these protocols, and they're pretty standardized versions of these protocols, because that's how you can account for interoperability with browsers and multiple users across countries and things like that. So there is a level of standardization on how these protocols work, and Barracuda also adheres to that standard standardization of protocols. So when we look for validations in the payloads, we actually do it in compliance with these protocols, and therefore the backend application server platform is not a concern. To also answer the question around the advanced persistent threat protection, the advanced threat protection feature, as I mentioned during my talk, this particular feature actually runs as a parallel process or as a background process. For example, when the user uploads a file, the file that the user uploads is actually delivered to the backend server, but a copy of it is sent to the cloud, where it is processed and checked for malwares and the whole malicious nature of that file. And if there is a problem, the cloud layer notifies the administrator about it, and the administrator is then required to go ahead and remove that file if there is a problem or if they are worried about that file, right? So as far as the performance is concerned, there is no real challenge because these are background processes that run in parallel. They are not going to obstruct the data inspection path of the WAF solution. So that part of the process is actually not impacted by these features.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that. And my last question is, do you have any local office in our country like Bangladesh, Dhaka? And how is your pricing policy here? Can you please? I'm not sure this is the right place to ask this answer.
So no worries. As long as let's see, I'm actually going to take the help of the presentation again. So this is our current availability for WAF as a service. So if you're going ahead with WAF as a service, you have to look at the closest points of presence for deploying your security layer. So it could either be Singapore or a region in India, or even Japan or Korea that you can choose from. I don't know if currently Microsoft Azure has a data center in Dhaka, but if and when they make it available in Dhaka, we should be able to get started in Dhaka.
I said, so if I want to take it in my premises, that means not a cloud service, if I want to deploy it in my own premises. So that's why I'm looking, do you have any local office nearest our country? Or
Yes, that is true. So we are North India sales team. So we have a sales team in Delhi, which actually handles business in Dhaka and other adjoining regions like Calcutta as well. So you can actually get in touch with them. One member of that team is actually present on this call. His name is Shashwat. What we can do is when we send you the recording and the presentation later, we will also send you the contact details of the team that you can get in touch with, so that in case you have any queries, you can get in touch with them and they should be able to help you out immediately.
Okay.
Hi, I'm actually sorry to interrupt. Hello, I'm Bushra.
Hi, Bushra. Hi.
Hi. Sorry to interrupt. Actually, I'm from Techniques Computers Private Limited. So for any query regarding
ফোন করছেন যে তখন কারেন্ট ছিল না, মানে অর্থাৎ ওয়াইফাই ছিল না আমার বাসায়।
Okay, who is this talking? I'm sorry.
Hello, Bushra. I am Muntasir here.
Hello.
I didn't get the yesterday's presentation.
Yeah, I have already conveyed in the text chat that I'll share it within today. So for any query regarding pricing and other stuff, kindly mail to me. I have shared the mail address as well in the chat list, as you can see.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks
also,
for that.
You will have all the documents from our end. Don't worry about this. Okay, so that's all.
Please share that.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so even after this call, if you have any questions that you need to clarify with us, please send us an email either through Bushra's team or directly to us, and we should be able to clarify those within a short time. Hopefully the session was useful for a lot of you guys. If you have any feedback about the session, please feel free to send them across to us. If you'd like to have similar sessions for any of your customers, please let us know about that too. we can look into our schedules and come up with the best time to have that session with your customers. Yeah, that's pretty much what I had. Prakhar, any closing comments from you?
Thanks, Arvind. Thanks a lot for the presentation, and Tushar for taking care of the queries on the chat when Arvind was presenting. So for everyone present on the call, I would like to introduce one more person to you. I see he's on call as well. His name is Mr. Bharat Vijaya. Bharat is relatively a new member of Barracuda Impact team, and he is based out of Hong Kong. So Bharat would be taking care of any customers for your region who have 250 employees and below. All right. So for any company having 250 employees and below, Bharat would be your spot, and obviously Shashwat would be there to help you technically, and technical team as well. Lone is highly technically qualified to take care of Barracuda product lines. Apart from that, thanks Technics team yet again for making this session possible for us. We would not want to end this communication with you all here itself. We would want more and more engagement with you all. Like Arvind said, please take us to your partners on remote sessions. It would help you and your sales team to brush up the knowledge of Barracuda Cloud Application Protection product line, and also they will understand how to pitch in this particular product line to customers. The most important thing, please do initiate scans in your region for your customers, right? Barracuda Vulnerability Manager and Vulnerability Remediation Service is a low-hanging fruit for you all to make sure that your sales cycle time is reduced. These scans are actually air covered for you all to make sure that our turnaround time for closure with the customers are reduced, and you can better approach customers with these tools as well. All right. So for any query, please reach out to us, to Technics team. Bushra has mentioned her contact details on the chat. You would have gotten a mail from me as well. You guys have my contact details as well. You have Shastrat's details as well. Please reach out to us. And yes, you will share the presentation as well. Bushra will be sharing the presentation. Thanks for joining in. Thank you. Be safe. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day and stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
Okay, bye
for
then.
the session. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for session.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.